Okay. So yeah, man. So what was the update? You said you just got an offer. You got the written offer, correct?
So verbal offer came in last Thursday. This one, it was for 130K base salary. I did for negotiation to push for 135. Um, they went back and forth with HR about that, and then today they got me the written offer, and they wanted to sit with the base 130, but gave me a 5,000 sign-on bonus. So that's what came in writing today. Haven't signed yet, but I plan to. And then once I sign that, that'll kick off the background process and all of that. And then the start date would be June 1st.
Okay. Okay. Well, first off, congratulations. So $130,000. Is this on site, hybrid, or remote?
This would be remote.
Fully remote.
Yep.
And then 5K sign-on bonus. Is it like any benefits? Anything like that?
Yeah, it's just the typical like company benefits like with healthcare and all of that stuff. I don't I thought I had that somewhere to see the full details. Like 401k benefits, life insurance, disability coverage, all of that stuff. So remote, all those benefits for a DevOps role.
Okay. And so let's talk about like when you first started, even before you joined the program, like who were you before you joined and what was wrong with your life at the time?
So before joining the 1% University, so I just recently passed the 1 year mark. I joined sometime between April, May of 2025. Um, and then I that just landed a product analyst role. So my career in tech is more on the product side. So product analyst, product owner, product manager, they all kind of blur together, even the business analyst. That's kind of where I sat in tech. So pretty adjacent to like DevOps and cloud. Didn't really realize it though throughout my career. But that's where I was. So came out of college in that position. Positioned myself pretty well in that field. It's just I never really even thought that would be the best like position for me. It's just what came first and then what I settled into and developed my skill sets in. But over time, getting into more advanced leadership roles, one of which being a startup environment, it made me really realize that product is extremely stressful. You sits within, I mean, it's rewarding for and fulfilling if you enjoy it. But if you don't have that passion, your ceiling is very like low.
Mhm.
Because the higher you go up, the more like leadership, like real responsibility you have around this your role and even your decisions. And in that startup role, things got chaotic pretty fast. Even got my first gray hair, and I'm not even close to getting gray hair yet. So that blew my mind. But then that that was a company I worked for, a good experience. Got laid off there. Then during that layoff, I realized, oh, that was 2024. The job market was rough then, and then from a life standpoint, I realized I'm not really positioned the way I need to be. I was like very casual and like just taking it easy throughout my career so far.
Mhm.
And financially, I wasn't in the spot I needed to be in. Investments wise, saving wise, just my own lack of I guess action or responsibility. And then was laid off for maybe 6 months doing like Uber Eats. I started a courier business to just expand what I can do income wise from my car, to keep cash flow coming in, pay the bills. And then that got into the product analyst role. Um, that a colleague he got laid off with me at that startup role reached out for me for.
Mhm.
Briefly for 12 months, but it was definitely helpful. For
And
58 an hour, so I was making pretty good money.
yeah, how much were you making?
For that role, 58 an hour
Okay,
for a
so
product analyst contract role.
not bad. And then you know, when you came to us, was there, why why was or let's say this, um, what would have happened if, you actually, let's take it a step back. Before you joined the program, was there like a reason why you almost didn't join and what made you say yes anyways?
The reason that made me maybe question joining or hesitate was one, I just landed a new role, but at that point in time, was already considering product not being for me. It's
Hmm.
just that role came, paid well, so obviously I was going to take it in the situation I was in. But that was kind of held me back. A bit of the investment cost. That wasn't a big thing. So I joined plenty of programs. I understood the value around like a boot camp program and the what comes with it. So the cost and investment it wasn't a red flag. It was just one of those things like, okay, do I want to make this investment now?
Mhm.
Do I want to commit to this now? And then I'll say the main one was a little bit of belief in myself that if I make this investment, can I really commit to it and make it work? And then the last one was with all of the noise around tech and AI, would another like white collar job, but that may be a good commitment or investment to get into with all of that noise going on. So I'd say that was the main one, that one in my personal belief. Um, but despite all of that, I digging into it, I realized and learned that cloud engineering and DevOps engineering those roles are integrated into AI and for AI to like grow and as more companies, integrate AI into their businesses, they're going to need people skilled in DevOps and cloud to make that happen. To one, help them with that integration or migration and then set up the scaling aspect of it as well. Because every company's going to have to get AI. If they don't have it already, I don't know what they're waiting on. So the demand for those roles, I realized, is going to like grow despite all of the noise with layoffs. So that was realizing that, oh, okay, let me just make the jump, make the commitment, and then that's been the journey from there.
Okay. And you mentioned, making that financial investment. Um, And you talked about commitment. One of the things I talk about all the time, like you need, and I talked about it yesterday on the Sunday coaching call, was you need to put in the time and energy into, you need three elements: the blueprint, something that's proven to work, which is what you got access to. So touching on the blueprint, do you feel like it was step by step? It was, when you got stuck, we got you unstuck and you continued along with the blueprint. Do you feel like even how we communicated the information was easy to pick up and understand? Like, do you feel like it was step by step, and do you feel like it was easy to understand? And when you were stuck, you got unstuck, you reached out.
Yeah, definitely. The way the boot camp is set up, it is designed in a step-by-step streamlined approach to get you from A to Z as fast as possible, or as um as streamlined as possible. As the speed at which you do it is based on like the individual, like the commitment, the energy that you were saying before.
Mhm.
But the boot camp and the blueprint in and of itself is streamlined. The information is extremely digestible through the live boot camps with Felipe, and even through the pre-recorded calls. Those go pretty good with the self-paced and then with the live boot camp.
Mhm.
And then there's so many resources available to get unstuck, like you were saying, reaching out to other instructors or people in the Washington University to like Kareem for the Q&A sessions
Mhm.
outside of the live boot camps. Felipe during the live boot camps is going to take care of you, make sure you get what you need with
Mhm.
extra resources as well with like study materials. Um, there's some of the coaching calls, and then there's other resources within like the school platform. So it gives you everything you need to like go from A to Z and clear the noise. Because I think I was sharing it yesterday on a Sunday coaching call too, that you can just use AI and try to create your own program or just go on YouTube. But there's opportunity cost with everything. Even if you go a freer route or a cheaper route, is still opportunity cost with that and the time it may take to you to digest it, organize it. So it may be a financial opportunity cost to invest in this program, but the speed at which you can get to your goal can be the trade-off or the thing you can accept. Like, okay, I'll make this financial investment to get to my outcome faster. If you were to go the opposite route, you may trade off the time. It take me a little bit longer, but it's cheaper. So that's the wing.
Mhm.
And I think speed is king, especially in a world where with AI, people will be able to go from idea to execution so much faster. I
Mhm.
will optimize for speed. I think this program gives you the blueprint to do that.
And I want to talk about, you just said opportunity cost. There's the cheaper route where you can do it for free, YouTube University, there's other cheaper programs. And it'll typically take you longer to get there. So it's cheaper on the front end, but
Yep.
on the back end, right? Because it took you, let's say, an extra 6 months to actually get an offer letter. For me, it was 11 months. I was making 7,600 a month, and I could have been making that 11 months earlier. So even though I still went back to pay for the program, funny enough, but let's say I didn't pay for the program, I would have saved $5,000 because that was the price of the program. But on that's the front end, I saved $5,000. But on the back end, I lost $83,000 because that could have been in my bank account. So there's like opportunity cost. There's the price of something, which is what you see on the front end. Here's the price tag. But then the back end, which you don't see, is the opportunity cost. And a lot of people don't understand the difference between the price and the cost of something. And
Yeah.
you just have to decide which one you want to pay. And then also, when you commit, do you feel like when you committed yourself financially, you were more committed to actually, completing this as opposed to like a free route?
Yeah, for sure. Seeing those monthly payments come, like the email, the text come in, like, hey, you got this payment coming up. It's like, dang, okay, if I'm slacking or not going as hard, like, okay, I'm locked in, so I gotta um locked in a good way to where it's like it was much a reminder that okay, I gotta this is what I committed to. Make sure I'm on track to get to the goal I said I was going to get to. But if it was free, like unless you were just someone who was extremely disciplined, it's human nature is going to be hard to just keep yourself on track for on a commitment like that. But once you have like a skin in the game, psychologically, you're going to be a lot more committed.
Okay. And I was researching something because I couldn't remember the verse, but Matthew 6, verse 21, it says, "For where your treasure is, there your heart will be also." And so, pretty much, I like this verse because it's like pretty much where you put your money, that's where your time and attention is going to follow. And so, you know, even if you go through anybody listening to this video, if you look at the last 3 months of your bank statements, let's say last month, let's say last week, right? If you look at where you put your money, associated where like, okay, it's my time and energy going to these places, right? It's a biblical principle, Matthew 6, verse 21. It says, "For where your treasure is, there your heart will also, where there your heart will be also." And so, if I want to actually, make money in tech, if I want to lose weight, if I want to, and these are, some of the things I was doing when I was coming up, I invested in these things because if I see money coming out of my bank account every month going to these things, I'm more committed because you're sacrificing something, right? And
Mhm.
so, when you sacrifice something, what you put in is what you get out. Okay. And that can come in the form of time, energy, money. But just to go back to the principle, where you put your money is that's where your time and energy follows to as well.
Definitely.
And so you're more committed when you actually invest. So the likelihood of you getting what you want increases. Also, do you feel like you being in the community, seeing, the Winch channel, people getting interviews, you seeing recruiters reaching out to other people and yourself, you seeing offer letters, what did you see inside the Winch channel and how did that help you stay committed to as well? So we have the money investment and then the community in terms of people's success. That those two elements kind of, help you stay committed to increase you actually getting the end goal. And what type of wins did you see in the channel?
Yeah, so the my relationship with the Winch channel is it's a love-hate win. Well, what I mean by that is I mean that in a good way. But so you since I've been in the program, I've been a part or I've seen like two like the wins, like 8-week challenges. The first one I participated in, I think I got second in the amount of wins. Just posting like skill wins, recruiters reaching out, interview wins. If you had an offer, those are the wins I would see. Whereas the things you're learning is this you're learning a light bulb go off. Those are all wins can kind of span across all of those. Um, so one that helped me build momentum and myself around the commitment, and then this what I could achieve in a short amount of time. And then the second one, more people joined, so more people participated, and you're seeing there's a lot of wins is across all of those layers. People are really leveling up and or achieving a lot of success through the same blueprint, that I invested in and committed to. And the reason I say it's a love-hate relationship is because eventually I got to a point to where there were so many wins in the channel and so many people like literally getting offers. I had to like mute it because like I typically have my Slack just open this when it open applications on my computer, and then I don't get notified all the time. But when I see like the little red dot on Slack light up, I just like click it, see what channel has a new message, and the wins is always going. And the reason, because then my competitive side kicked in with the love-hate relationship because like people are getting so many wins and like offers too. I don't want to open it or even go back into it until I have an offer. Like I was still getting wins, interviews, recruiters reaching out. Um, I'm learning new things, and then and I already participated heavily in the first round of the 8 weeks wins challenge. But my point was I'm still getting wins, but my next win has to be an offer. So I'm going to mute this channel, peek in here and there just to congratulate the community, just to support everybody. But I'm not getting back in there until I get my offer. And then it came in. So now I'm about to post in there for my first time in a while after this call. But it's great seeing people in the same program as you with the same information, same resources, get the results. So for me, my belief in the program was there. Like it was there before I joined. Like the proof was in the pudding. The people were getting results to the same program step by step. So it was not no variants or remixes anyone is doing. I had to just get my belief in myself that I could make the program work. It clearly works for others. I got to prove to myself I can make it work for me. And then once I just locked in and kind of committed on that level or in that space, I was able to build the interview momentum, the interview skill set to then finally land my first offer.
Well, okay. And you know, what was what was like, so anybody listening to, there's people listening to this video right now. Um, what do you feel like was the biggest like value that you've gained from joining the 1% University? That could be cloud engineering. I teach a lot of wealth principles, investing, but what was like the like one thing that sticks out the most?
Out of everything, it's going to sound simple. And even when you shared it like through the Sunday coaching calls or the accelerated coaching calls, you said it's pretty simple as well because you mentioned you have a billionaire mentor in day trading, and then you asked him this question, and he said this is is pretty simple. It's something a lot of people overlook, but it's just the amount of inputs you do into a system, a blueprint, a program, whatever um, determines your outputs, and then you keep the inputs into the system, get the outputs, you gather the feedback from the output, and you just repeat the loop. And the faster you do that, and the more consistent you are with that, that's where the success happens. You can apply that across anything, cloud, DevOps, day trading, product management, business, like that, like work ethic or that works, like process works across everything. Um, and then just locking into that. So obviously the outcome is what I want. The offer letters, I want to increase my income, to improve my life, improve my finances, whatever. But focusing on the skill set as the output, improving the skill set, leveling up there. And then after every interview, I'm doing inputs into the program, my own skill sets. I'm doing reps for my projects. I'm doing more projects. So that's the inputs into the system. And then I have the interviews, that's in the system as well. And then the output is kind of my skill set for that interview.
Mhm.
So I analyzed that. Okay, based on my performance, where's my skill up at? Where were my gaps? Was it gaps more in Terraform? Was it gaps just more in just how I communicated in general? Was I rambling too long? Yeah, I'm not sure enough. I not relate enough, or is my skill level in this area just lacking? Okay, that's those are the gaps. Put those back in inputs. Though not no focus on that. That goes back into the system. Next interview. Now, what's the output? Where's my skill set now? And then kind of repeating that process. And then I didn't have that mindset when I first started aggressively doing interviews, but once I kind of locked that in, I can't remember when you first shared that, but maybe I don't want to give it's gonna be a bad estimate, but it was maybe around 5 interviews or so of that feedback loop. Was I was able to lock in my gaps a lot faster, be more streamlined there, and get to the point to where like I could come out of interviews like, wow, that was my best interview I've had been in the program. Like that, the way I confidently communicated this piece of my experience, able to like connect that to the pain point from the company and what their team's dealing with was night and day from like now back when I first started. So that's the biggest takeaway. Obviously, it's a lot more, but this that work ethic or mindset around building the skill set around that model is what helped me just get from my goal, point A to point B, into my goal a lot faster.
anybody listening to this, I got this from somebody named Myron Golden. He's a very, very smart guy. He teaches a lot of biblical business principles on YouTube. But one of the things he said was, when it comes to systems is there's input, process, output. Like, so input is like information. I need to information studying for the test. Process is taking the test. Output is the grade. And then based on the grade, right, if you got a C, right, that's the output, and you wanted an A, now you can see there's something called feedback, right? And so that feedback is all the things that you need to work on, and it'll tell you, hey, go ahead and study this, study this, study this. And you put that feedback information back into the input, right, which is the information. So you study the things that you lack. Then you take the test again, and then you instead of a C, you get an A. So that's like a high level perspective of what a system is. Input, process, output, feedback loop. And then there's the environment. Like think about it like a sun. There's the environment, right? Studying, like the input, studying in a library as opposed to studying at a concert. So the environment is very important. So Myron Golden didn't say that. I learned that somewhere else. So Myron Golden said this, you typically so the whole goal is to get the offer letter. To get the offer letter, you need the skill set. Okay. Not a lot of people will teach this, right? People will teach, here's AWS Cloud Engineering, here's what it is, and here's projects, apply to jobs. That's a lot of people go through boot camps like that, and they come to me saying it didn't work because they didn't teach them other skills. Not only do you understand the tech stack, you understand how to build projects, you need to understand how to brand yourself, how to get recruiters to reach out to you consistently, and then how to communicate, how to sell, and selling is just understanding somebody's problem and communicating the solution that positions you as an authority and one of the top candidates on any job interview. So the tech stack and projects know how to communicate those projects, right? That's very important. And knowing how to attract recruiters to now then communicate those projects to get the offer letter. That is the skill set that we teach here at the 1% University. Drew, do you feel like, that's true in terms of what we've taught you specifically?
Yeah, from top to bottom. So the tech stack is everything's there. It's streamlined through the boot camp, and it's condensed in a way to where you can get the fundamentals down, so you can have a strong foundation to go into the market. Because those that tech stack is what I'm sending all the job descriptions and even talking to employers. That's what they're looking for. And it comes to Terraform, Docker, Jenkins, GitHub Actions, or GitOps or Argo CD, like all of those Kubernetes. Like there's obviously a lot more, but all of those is what you see kind of spread out across all the job descriptions I apply for, like Ansible. Um, so the tech stack is all there. The branding is there. So the 1% teaches you how to one get the inbound. So recruiters reaching out to you. Frequently, I get emails coming in from opportunities. How to position yourself on LinkedIn so you can get inbound opportunities that way. How to post on LinkedIn to build your personal brand that way. And then they all three are important, but from my experience, I would say the third one, the sales is king. Like if people, because the tech stack, a lot of people can pick that up, especially with AI, they can learn a tech stack. That's just obviously it's important, but I say it's um more people can get good there. The branding is a bit different because a lot of people are still hesitant or scared to post their work online or post what they're learning. So I say it's still a pretty big gap there. But if you know how to sell yourself in an interview, that's where a lot of people, even skilled engineers, I feel are really going to struggle or could struggle if they can't figure that out. Because I'm not going to share too much game, because I don't obviously that's proprietary, but that strategic interview framework you give us, if I'm not the best at executing that, but I can see once I get that down, obviously with the tech stack and the branding, I can see how it's very easy to land offers, even in this job market. But it's how you position yourself, how you communicate your skill set, and then tie that directly to their pain point and what they're looking for. And communicating that in the interview in like in a way, like it's not really an interview at that point. Like you kind of are interviewing them in a sense, in a sense to where you're diagnosing the problem. You're being relatable, of course. You're still, human interaction, but you're able to pull really what they're looking for and then say, hey, I'm going to relate to you, relate to your problem, and explain how my experience directly can solve that problem. And if you can do that through good communication, you're going to stand out amongst so many other candidates. Because I mean, I haven't been on the other side of interviews, but I will confidently assume a lot of people can't do that effectively.
Mhm.
Because just a lot of people don't work in sales, and people have a bad outlook on sales. I did at least, but I'll say that is king. I'm not gonna share too much about it, but when I've executed that, like I've seen interviewers like appreciate, oh, I appreciate you like asking that question or just going deeper into that, and then I just kick off interviews just way better. And if I can just execute that throughout the whole interview and even during the wrap up, I see the strength and the power in it.
I want to touch on something you said in terms of sales. I thought it was honestly like sleazy. I thought it was bad. I thought it was like it's just that notion, like without
Mhm.
really understanding what sales is. And I want to shed light to this. I'm never say, hey, join my program, like buy my course, right? I say, hey, if you're interested, um, I mean, we don't accept just anybody, but I say if you're interested, click the first link in the description below. We'll qualify you. We don't just accept anybody. But you know, to fast forward, you know, all sales is somebody having a problem, a company having a problem. And as a cloud engineer, you're able to identify the problem and communicate the solution based on your past experience, based on the projects that we teach in the program. And now they give you the offer letter, you get paid money, right? Because you communicated that you could solve their problem, but then also you go ahead and do solve their problem. The problem that you solve is a multi-million-dollar problem. So they're paying you six figures and you're saving them multi-millions of dollars, depending on the how big the company is. Now, you sold them on hiring you. You get benefited because you get paid money, and they get benefited because you're helping them save multiple millions of dollars. Now, sales, the reason why it's look at a bad perspective is because if you sold them on, hey, I can solve this problem, and you can't really do it, you kind of scammed them, you fabricated your resume, and you didn't actually do what you told them that you know how to do. You kind of just finessed your words and you didn't deliver on the product, you didn't deliver on the skills, right? And then you not only you didn't do what you said you could do, but now you cost them multiple millions of dollars and not executing on what you said that you can do. That is something called a scam, right? Now, a lot of people look at sales as like associated with scams because it happens all the time, right? Now, for example, you had a problem. Most people watching this video, they have a problem. Either they don't know how to get to that 100K, 300K, 500K because they don't have a skill set. I'm never saying, hey, in 3 months you'll get I tell you this all the time. I tell all the students all the time. Anybody telling you you'll get an offer letter in 3 months, 4 months, they're literally lying to you, right? No, the person that gives you the offer letter is the hiring manager. We don't control that. All we can do is increase the likelihood of them giving you an offer letter based on the skill sets that you possess. That's why I say, hey, I'm showing you a skill set. The skill set is more valuable than the offer letter because you can lose the job and still go at. Do you feel like you can go out there and get another offer because of the skill sets that you possess?
Definitely no. And like I was saying before, I struggle more in the belief of myself. Now that I've proven to myself that literally, hey, you finally got the offer for 130. It's the most most money I've ever made from a job. So yeah, it's I got that belief now. So if I just keep that process mindset that we were talking about, the inputs to the outputs to the process, I know if I keep the skill set there, I can win another offer because the same thing this company's looking for, like their same pain point, thousands of other companies are looking for it too. So I might just keep the pipeline going, keep the momentum up, and then eventually I'll land another one. Like whenever the the opportunity aligns with the moment, or I just perform the best, and then
And,
for the interview pipeline, I know, but it's a numbers game until I get another one.
and so just to reiterate, you have this skill set.
Yes.
And do you feel so essentially we sold you on this program?
Yep.
Do you think it was bad for me to sell you on this program or good for you to sell you on this program?
It was good because the value was there. The one for you, the Felipe, Kareem, like everyone, 1% University as a whole delivered on the value. So that it's good. Like I got the a fair trade, a fair exchange. So um and everything is sales. Like even going to the grocery store, that's sales. If you go in to buy groceries, like if you like a product, I don't know, a certain type of produce, you like it, that's a fair trade because you believe you got the value.
And you
Um
know, I don't even know if you noticed this, but you know how they position like different candies, like when you're about to pay,
yeah.
but like that sells too.
Yeah, okay, that's psychological. But at the cashier, they put the candy, the gum, like the
Mhm.
little smaller things. It's like you're thinking, oh, okay, yeah, I need some gum. I just ran out, so
Yeah,
it's just adding more to your cart. So yeah,
because
all of that sales and persuasion.
you're more open to pay because you're getting out your card and then it's right
Mhm.
there. It's like it's just like positioning. But nonetheless, it's like, you know, if you like you said, exchange the value in the form of a dollar as opposed to candy because you need gum because your breath stinks, that's a problem. And the gum is the solution to the problem. You give value to solve your problem. That is business. Now, for example, with and this is I want everybody watching this to understand because I do teach business principles kind of in the program, like how to sell. You need to know how to sell. You need to know how to market, which is branding, right? But you had a problem and we had the solution. Now, a scam is me saying, hey, I have this solution. You pay for the product and you don't get the solution. Now, that's why I can make a bold claim and say, hey, if you don't get the solution, which is the skill set, that's what we say, not offers. We cannot promise you an offer. I don't know if you're going to put in the work, right? I don't know if you're going to follow the blueprint, right? That's why we say, hey, if you don't get this skill set, right, which is what we spoke about, you get your money back, no questions asked. If you don't get the product, right? Because if you have the skill set, you can always get offers. You know how to attract recruiters to reach out to you to set up interviews, and you know how to communicate the technical value, the technical projects, and position yourself as an authority, to position yourself as one of the top candidates on any job interview, to increase the likelihood of you getting an offer. That is the product, right? And so, you know, if you get a job, like let's say somebody hooked you up with a job and you lost the job, you don't have the skill to get another one. That's why the skill set is more important. Now, um, we, you know, you were sold on this program and you put in the work. That's the variable. You have to put in the work, right? It's not going to happen overnight, right? If you think that's the case, please do not join the program. It's not for you, right? You put in the work into the blueprint, the time and energy, right, into the blueprint, and you committed yourself, your time, your energy, your money, and you said this is going to work, your belief system. You were the identity. The identity, the time and energy into the blueprint equals the skill set. The byproduct of having the skill set with time is offers, right? It's just what it is. Now, you were sold onto the program to get the skill. You got the skill. Now you are selling yourself to the market. And the companies are now paying you to solve their problems. So you see, like what I'm saying in terms of like, you know, you paid us money to get a skill. Now companies are paying you money, like 10 times the amount you invested,
Yeah.
right? More than 10 times actually.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like it's a win-win for everybody because there's problems and there's solutions that we can also, and that's business. Like you go to the grocery store, your breath stinks, you buy a pack of gum, right? You're hungry, right? House, you need to live somewhere, right? Like everything is business. And so that's why, you know, when we talk about a program, it's not just about learning the tech stack. Do you understand how like applying to jobs, I say this all the time. Applying to jobs is the worst way of getting a job. It has a 2 to 3% conversion rate to an offer letter, right? Having recruiters reaching out to you has an increased percentage. They even treat you differently, right?
Yeah.
And so it's like, you know, these are skill sets. And these are skill sets I had to learn, you know, from different mentors, not from like a tech program, but these are things that I put together to make sure that, you do not need to go outside the blueprint. Do you feel like you have to go outside the blueprint to actually get the results? Obviously, you build upon the projects, but I mean, like step by step, the skills. Did you have to go outside the blueprint to get the skill?
No, everything streamlined again, step by step from point A to point Z, all in a program. And the times where I've may have remixed things a little bit were times where I've gone off the beaten path and delayed the time to get the skill set. But if I stayed, I did often I did not diverge or detract too far. But whenever I did, it delayed my time. But when I stayed just the course, the blueprint, things were just streamlined, and you can it just makes it easier because you there's so much noise. There's so many different things you can do it, ways you can do it. But if everyone's following the same blueprint, they're getting results. My mindset is just follow the same blueprint, trust it because obviously it works. You've seen it in the Win channel. You've seen people come in with offers, um, and then doing that, you have everything you need to get the offer or to get the skill set.
Okay, okay. And what do you feel like what specifically did this program give you that you couldn't get on your own?
The I would say for me, it's the organization of the information. So I probably could get that on my own with AI, but just I don't know, just the belief in a structured blueprint or a structured program. Because cloud engineering and DevOps is new, so I don't really know what's like structured way to learn it is the most optimal to get the outcome. Maybe I could have done that, getting on it from like YouTube University for free or through AI, say ChatGPT or Claude, create a program for me. But I just don't really have that trust. Like me personally, I wouldn't. But investing in one that's already put together, that's already generated success for other students. Because but when I joined, I think Greg obviously superstar student in One Percent University. I think Isaac, yeah, they have other testimonial videos on your YouTube channel as well, so people can go and reference those. Isaac was just starting to get results, and maybe in a few more other students. So I'm seeing, okay, they invested in the same program, the same blueprints, and they're getting results. So now I'm coming in with the confidence that, okay, this blueprint works. So just the organization of all of the information was something I don't think I could have gotten, or at least the confidence and the belief that, okay, this works. If I just hammer it out, I can get to my outcome. I'm not sure if that makes sense. So I kind of could get that outside of it, but it wouldn't be as strong as just coming to a proven system.
Okay, it makes sense. And I want to say this, a lot of people watching these videos, you know, you know, they're thinking about investing and, you know, there's always going to be fear because you're going to pay for something and you're afraid of like paying for something, you lose your money and you don't get what you paid for, right?
Yeah,
Um, when we spoke, I tell it to every student, hey, if you don't get what you pay for, you get your money back. I don't believe you should. There's just basic business ethics. Some businesses don't have. I mean, I say most, but I don't believe that if you pay for something, you should not pay. If you pay for something and you didn't get what you paid for, why should you pay? Right? There should be a refund policy. Because when I joined programs like boot camps and stuff like that, you know, it just didn't work, right? And so that's why I made this where it's like a one-stop shop. You follow it and you get the skill, and the skill set is, you know what happens. And so, going back to the point, a lot of people watch these videos because they want to feel a level of security of like to wash away the fear. The reality is, and you can, attest to this, when you invested, that fear is not going to go away. It can feel good when you see offers and it's okay, I feel good. It gives me hope that I can do it too, but you're still going to feel the fear when you make that commitment,
yeah,
right? And so that's not going to go away. It's just understanding this is going to stay, but believing in yourself to follow the blueprint step by step, commit to it and be consistent. Do you honestly feel like if anybody is watching this video and they're like, I'm thinking about joining the program, um, and they know they're going to put in the time and energy into the blueprint, what do you honestly believe what will happen if they follow the blueprint and consistently? Do you feel like they won't see results, or do you feel like they will? And be completely honest.
Yeah, so for those who are still considering making the investment and you have the belief in yourself that you will at least commit to your time and energy, I can confidently say you will get the skill set. Like it's
And why do you say that?
because cloud and DevOps is not hard to learn. Like it's me you it took me a minute to learn it because I thought I'd pick it up faster. Because like I said, I've been adjacent to it, being in product. The concept of DevOps wasn't it's not hard to understand. The ins and outs and setting like CI/CD pipelines up, setting up cloud infrastructure, security around it, networking. It can be new and overwhelming at first, but it's really not hard to learn. Once you got it, like it just makes sense. Um, so if you could put in the time and energy, and obviously everybody's lifestyle is different, but if you can commit to it and stay consistent with it, it's just not hard to get the skill set. And then so the tech stack, this part is easy. Like the other one you said with branding, that part is pretty easy as well. It's just setting yourself up to have um recruiters reach out to you. It's just a matter of you just want to do it or not. The branding on LinkedIn in and of itself is just maybe getting out of your comfort zone to post what you're learning, either that fear or just posting something new. But that's just something everybody got to just work through. Once you make that jump, it's not that hard. And then the sales skill set, that may be a little bit harder. Because you can gotta practice, you can practice that with AI, mock interviews, role play, but you gotta get into actual interviews to like see how you what your skill set is with that. But the skill in and of itself is not hard to get. That offers, that's just another thing. It matters just how well you can, how many interviews you can put yourself into, how well you perform under that pressure. Which is not a lot, but it's just live pressure, live interview, how you perform in that. That's just how everybody's journey is different there. But essentially, if you know you're going to work at it, stay consistent, the skill set's not hard to get. Like it's just not that difficult to learn. And then what separates you is just how you brand and then sell yourself in the interview at that point.
Yep. I will say, there's YouTube University, there's other programs. Um, you know, if you are that type of person, you're the person that can overcome obstacles, right? Because there will be obstacles. If you're the person that's going to commit their time and energy into the blueprint, which is needed, those three elements, the identity, the time and energy into the blueprint, that will equal skill set. If that is you, go ahead and click the first link in the description below to apply, and we'll reach out to see if you qualify. Um, and the main thing that we look for, we're looking for people like Drew, we're looking for people like Isaac, we're looking for people like Logan, Chris, Magnus, Stormy, Omatola, like the list goes on, Darnell. These people that were like, I'm sick of tired of being sick and tired. Like, I need a change, or I really, really want this thing, right? Because that is the requirement. That's the fuel that's actually going to get you from point A to point B. We can give you the blueprint, right? But we can't force you to put the time and energy. But to put the time and energy into it, you need a strong why. You need the fuel. So it's either you're sick and tired of being sick and tired, or you really, really want this thing, right? Those are the two different fuel sources that I've seen that's taking people from zero all the way to 300K, 500K. Chris is at $866,000 in offer letters. Doesn't mean he's accepted all of them, right? It just means he's generated that in 4 months. I think he's around at 400, 500K in terms of money he's making per year. And his goal is $1 million a year. He's able to do that because he has the skill. So once again, if that is you, first off, if that's not you, please do not click the first link in the description below. Like I'm telling you, it's going to be a waste of time and money. Like my goal is to serve people, is to get people from point A to point B. And if that is you, go ahead and click the first link in the description below, and me and my team will reach out to you and see if it makes sense. Now, when it comes to um, you know, what do you feel like is different about your life now? And you can be specific. The money, job, confidence. You just got this offer, so you haven't seen the money hit your bank account, but you can imagine. But the money, the job, the confidence, the time, the stress, the freedom, what would you say is different about your life now? Or will be?
I'll say now the confidence for sure. Like now I know, okay, I've proven to myself that when I'm in demand in this job market, and then boom, I can like prove I can get an offer and then provide value to companies. So the confidence from that is definitely huge.
And
Um,
real quick, do you honestly believe you can make $500,000 a year with the skill set you have?
Definitely. Yeah. It's I got to see how I adjust to the, because every job's different. I got to see how I adjust to my first DevOps role.
Hmm.
But when it comes to like getting offers to the, when positioning yourself for like two, three, or more remote roles, I can, I can, I can see how people are doing it. I can see how guys like Isaac, Greg, Chris, can do that. And then also what I said earlier about once you get that sales part down, I can really like easily see how you can get offer letters pretty consistently if you position yourself, go on interviews, understand the problems, and the more experience you have, you can say, "Oh, that's a problem." Well, my this reminds me or my his past project or experience. I handled a very similar situation or scenario. This is how I did. These are the trade-offs I made. These were the constraints. You can go into all of that, and then yeah, I can easily see how it is as possible. It just before I didn't fully believe it. Even though that's what I wanted to scale my income to multiple streams. But now I've gone through and gotten that first one. I can see, okay, that makes a lot more sense how you can position yourself to do that.
And we show you, how to scale to that 500K. Once you get on the job, like you have to engage, like gauge the workload, different things like that. But um, so once again, you believe you can actually, with the skill set that you have, what percent, like 0 to 100, do you believe you can actually get to 500K a year?
Percent.
Hmm.
At the very least an 80. Yeah, because it's just we're just not 100 because I just don't know that unknown of just how fast I adjust to this first role.
Yep.
But I don't think it'd be hard. Like I said, with the skill set I've already have, the resources I have within the resources and support I have within Wilmington University, I don't think that'd be hard to adjust to. And then so many other students are already doing it, so like I guess I have something to like fall back on. And then so my goal is by my birthday in September, which is what this halfway through May, so put maybe 4 months to have another one, and then finish the year with hopefully at least three roles, and then be at that 25K per month. Because if I get there, yeah, I haven't had the check hasn't hit my bank account yet, but I'm already planning on kind of how I'm going to organize the bread. I do
Yeah.
freshman year, how you say how you
Manage
teach how
money.
to organize your cash. So now that I got cash flow coming back in, like okay, I'm gonna have this much going to debt. I'm gonna have this much going to investing long term in stocks. I'm gonna dedicate this much to a trading account and let that grow over time. And then I'm just trying to, my brain's already, the wheels are already turning in those areas. So if I get to 25K a month, things are gonna life's gonna get good. Definitely there.
Okay. And for context, anybody listening to this, I don't just, I promote cloud engineering, but when people join the program, they get the whole 1% university. Freshman year is how to manage your money, right? How to get richer and richer every single month by automations. So it's no point in me teaching you how to make six figures and you're still looking paycheck to paycheck. That doesn't make any sense, right? So freshman year is how to manage your money. Sophomore year is cloud engineering, how to scale to $500,000 a year, which is $25,000 a month after tax that hits your bank account. So, how to make more money. Junior year is how to invest that money, how to learn how to invest in the stock market so your money can make money for you. As we're speaking right now, Drew, my money's making money for me. It's because I learned a skill set and I had capital to put that into the market to make money, right? And so, anyways, senior year is all about taxes. I'm still developing it. But freshman year through junior year, it's available for people who join. So your grandfather there, you don't need to pay, any extra. I don't know how long. I'm probably going to close this off. I don't know when I'm going to close it off. Um, but it's not going to be, you're one of the early investors, so you have that. Your grandfather then. But going back to it, how do you feel about your future now compared to before?
I feel a lot more confident in it, especially because before joining, I mentioned my concerns were one, belief in myself that I can make it work. That's just through past mistakes I made my self-belief. I struggle with that. You probably can sense that through a lot of conversations we had through coaching calls, through past mistakes. But now that I've one gotten an offer and two learned more about cloud engineering, DevOps, and um, navigated the noise, knowing what is noise when it comes to AI, tech, the future, and what's noise versus what's real. I feel like I'm can confidently position myself to ride the wave of AI, if that makes sense. Because like I said, companies need cloud engineers to make AI work in their businesses.
Mhm.
So I'm saying I've ignored or limited the amount of outside information I consume to prevent like that negativity from coming in. But even though like these layoffs are happening, you still see plenty of job opportunities for cloud engineers. Um, and if recruiters are still reaching out for us for interviews, so the demand is still there, and then it's going to grow because more companies are going to integrate more AI into their businesses or migrate over, and the cloud engineers are needed to do that. Like even with AI taking jobs, okay, cloud engineers are still needed to make AI work. You can use AI to make our jobs more easy, more efficient, so you can scale to more positions. So I'm a lot more confident because I got the skill set. I know what's noise versus what's real, and then the demand of the skill set I have. I know it's going to even continue to grow. So I'm confident and proud of the decision I made to commit to this boot camp to get the skill set, and then just looking forward to just keep doing more. I already got like many project ideas. I want to keep building upon tech challenges or just building new projects to just keep hands on keyboard, keep the learning going.
Do you regret investing in this program?
No. What I regret is not having the urgency faster.
Mm,
What you said with opportunity costs, like so when I first joined, I mentioned I had a role already, so my urgency wasn't really there. So I got through the program, like the content, in maybe about 3, 4 months. Um, and but I didn't start interviewing heavy to maybe like October, September of last year.
mhm.
And even then, from October of last year to now, I couldn't have gotten an offer. I couldn't have gotten the skill set to get an offer a lot faster if I just did things with a bit more urgency, a bit more streamlined. Um, so that's
And
the only thing I regret.
I want to touch on this because when you had lost a job, there's now pain, right?
Mhm.
There's
Yeah.
like, okay, I'm tired. Like there is a reason to put that time and energy into the blueprint, right? To
Mhm.
get the skill set faster. So when I say, anybody that wants to join this program, that needs to be there. Or even if it's not, because Greg, he just wanted to make more money and travel and things like that. He was already making 140, but he just really, really wanted it bad. There wasn't like he just lost his job or anything like that. So it's either he really wants it bad or there's like a situation that's causing you to like, I need this now.
Yeah.
And so um, I wanted to ask, so once again, the product that, we put out there, right, the skill set cloud engineer through the 1% university, you feel like that is true to what we, say online, marketing, stuff like that. That's true in terms of what I say online.
Yeah, this is true. Even when I see your YouTube shorts or other content you post on social media, it's just literally the same stuff you talk about in the Sunday coaching class. It's like sometimes almost verbatim. So what you put out online is literally what we're doing inside the program. And I can't remember the last thing I've saw, but I've seen a YouTube short of you saying like in interviews, you teach, let me go, what's the problem you're experiencing, and then tie that directly to the projects you learn or do in the boot camp. I've seen content where you talk about how like the tech stack, like this is the tech stack where you teach. And I'm like, yeah, you mentioned Docker, yeah, I learned that. Kubernetes, learned that. Terraform, Ansible, yeah, that's one project in and of itself. So yeah, it's all there. It's a one-to-one match. So it's anyone looking. It's just the only variable is just how the energy and time you just put into it. Because like I said, everybody's lives are different. You may be married, you may have a partner, you may have kids, or just other obligations in your life. So I don't know how how everyone manages that is different. For me, I was single, um, so I had a lot more time and I could invest. Um, but if you can just be consistent, put the energy, put the time into, the skill set is there. So it's just how many opportunities can you put yourself in front of to demonstrate that skill set to then get those offers to get to where the outcome you want to be at.
Okay. And what would you say about my character as a person? Even though we're not like super close, obviously, but from what you've experienced with me and what you know about me, and no wrong answers, you can say anything. What would you say about my character?
I say it's pretty truthful. I say Tayo is a stand-up guy. I had a chance to meet him in person last year at a conference called InvestFest. And how he is in person is the same way he is, at least on the I don't know. I haven't seen all your content online, but obviously I'm confident it's the same how you are in the boot camp. And then even what I see on YouTube, it's the same exact way. So the way you behave, the way you speak is the same across all of those mediums and channels I've interacted with you. And the you're pretty transparent in what you share as well, with your background, your journey. Um, what you're learning, you're transparent, and a lot of those, which a lot of mentors or people claim to be mentors who are selling programs are not. They, um, especially like in the like day trading space, a lot of people they finesse so much over there, and they just so much cap. And then I haven't invested in a lot of like professional career boot camps. I've been a part of this one, then like a product management or Scrum Master one. So I don't have a lot of references there, but for you, you're just transparent with everything. You're transparent with the process. You're upfront with everything. You don't cap or over glorify. So I say character-wise, you're pretty clean cut, stand up, and transparent with everything.
I appreciate you. And the second to last question is, if someone's watching this and it's where you were, what would you tell them?
What is this? Say it again.
If someone's watching this right now and and they were where you were, or they are, sorry, they are where you were, what would you
Mhm.
tell
So they were hours at like before joining the program, like on the fence.
them? Say before joining the program and then, yeah, before joining the program on the fence.
I would just say I'll just say if you're still concerned, I mean, that's fair. Like you said, the fear is always going to be there. Letting go of money from like and handing over money to any big investment is going to feel uncomfortable. That fear is never going to go away. But I'll just say if you just reflect on it, pray on it, and if you believe in your work ethic, you can get the skill sets. And it's just having faith in yourself and faith that things are going to work out for you. The right opportunity is going to come. Um, And eventually, I mean, you got to take risks to get to where you want to go. You can't save your way to the outcome you want to go. Like for me, my to grow my finances, I can't save my way to it. Um, I didn't know any other ways to get cash flow or scale cash flow in a streamlined way that you teach in this program, to where I can get to my financial goal faster or get to my lifestyle goal where I'm not as stressed out over payments. I can get my debt down. If I want to travel or take care of my family, I can do so. I didn't like have a clear solution for that. So the solution was presented to me here, and then I just made the faith, made the commitment. Okay, I'm gonna take the faith, take the jump into this commitment, and then just have trust in myself. I'm just gonna be consistent. As long as I show up, day in, day out, I'll get the skill set, and then that's eventually where I got to. So that's kind of what I'll say. I mean, everybody, it's a decision you're gonna have to make. The results are there. I got mine. Plenty, so many students. The Wins channel is always people posting what they're learning, offers coming in. So you're joining a community of people who are getting results in a market where everyone's saying is a disaster. So your people are still getting a lot of success. And then even to people who are, I'll say, adjacent to you in regards to like career in cloud or who teach cloud. So Charles, okay, he has his own teacher thing, and I see his content. He's the same thing he's saying. He's so calm, cool, and collected when he's talking about cloud. And I see his students are getting um a lot of success. So like people are getting success in the job market. It's just who are you following to help you navigate? Is that's the main thing.
Okay. And I wanna be clear, going back to that fear, that's always gonna be there, right? I see a lot of people, you know, they allow the fear to overcome them and they get stuck and they don't overcome the fear. Like you obviously overcame the fear and you kind of need to overcome obstacles. Even when you join the program, you had to overcome different obstacles, right?
Yep.
And so there's obstacles and it's either going to overcome you or you overcome them. But you have if you really want if you are like really in a situation where it has to work or it has to work, you're going to do whatever it takes to actually get to overcome any obstacle, right?
Mhm.
So it's like that is extremely important, not just from the fear perspective of investing, but even when actually in the program, it doesn't have to be my program, it could be any other. But you're still gonna face obstacles. Are you the person that can overcome them, or is that obstacle going to overcome you? And
Yep.
that is a requirement of actually getting the skill set. You need to overcome obstacles. Fear is one of them. You need to become the person that can overcome obstacles. That's more important.
Hmm.
You need to put the time and energy into the blueprint. So that identity, time and energy into the blueprint equals skill set. And so I wanted to point that out. Once again, right, if that is not you, please do not click the first link in the description below. If that is you, Go ahead and click the first link in the description below to apply. We don't just accept anybody. We look for people that can overcome obstacles. We look for people who are committed. We look for people who are ready because it's so easy. If you were in my shoes, do you think it would be easy to get people results if, they were already like, hey, this is what I want, and you already had the blueprint that, you just went through?
I mean, yeah, if you got the blueprint and you got the confidence or just the belief that you're gonna to be consistent, you can get the results. Like no matter where you go, no matter what background you come from, like you people outside of tech or like I think Paris, he doesn't have a tech background, so he got the offer. You mentioned Stormy, his story is crazy. Like he never basically didn't know how to turn a computer on, didn't know how to work the basics of a computer, and then he got a crazy offer recently for like a DevOps role. He
190, 190K.
It's like crazy. So it's saying that, and then it's people from all different backgrounds, skill levels, ages. Like they all come to the same blueprint. They all follow the same blueprint, and this at their own pace, energy, time that they committed. They got the skill set, and then boom, boom, they get an offer. So yeah, I say no matter where standpoint you're in, it's just you get the skill set. It's the carrot or the stick mentality or pain versus reward. Like either you want the reward bad enough, like you were sharing with Greg, he was more so this the reward was big enough to where he's just gonna go crazy on the inputs and get the outputs. Or the pain gotta be so bad to where like you sick and tired of being sick and tired, like you said, I'm just tired of dealing with this. And I say that's kind of more was I was at because so many people were getting like wins. It's like, bro, I can do this too. Like we're like people who were joining after me were getting wins. So like bro, like it's my time. So at the my to me, it was like I'm sick and tired. I've been sick and tired. For this role I just got, when I got word I was going to the final round, my mindset was I'm getting this.
Yeah.
I know about you teach don't focus on the outcome, which I have to correct myself before the interview. But when the interview was scheduled and I was preparing, I'm like, I'm getting this effing offer. Like it's time. That's the mindset then it made my performance better because now my self-belief was a lot higher, my self-image was a lot higher. Um, and so going into the interview and then settle myself down, like, okay, don't focus too much on that. Still focus on the skill set.
Mhm.
Going to this interview, like I'm trying to improve my skill set. I'm still going to identify my gaps after the interview and then work on them, put those back in the input and process. But eventually, for me, it was the pain because the reward. I want the reward, but the pain and my journey got big enough to where it's like I'm getting this. It's like now is the time.
Okay. Okay. And the last question, oh, before that, I want to say you're either going to be driven by, what you really, really want, like the reward or the pain, right? So you have to have either one of those things to actually, put the time and energy into the blueprint. And
Yep.
so, what's the last question is, what is like the 1% gem that you would share to anybody listening to this right now? 1% gem is just an advice that somebody can tangibly use to get to their financial goal.
1% gem, tangibly used to get to their goal. I'll say it's that process, that business process, or just the work process of the inputs into a process gets you the outcome. With the outputs, you identify that feedback and then you just recycle it back into the input into the process. It sounds very, very simple. Wish I had a visual to like draw it, but if you can, the more iterations you can do of that and the speed of which you can do those iterations really determine the how fast you develop a skill set. Because you can learn any skill. Like learning a skill is not hard. And then with the advancements of AI, it's fear as in, oh, AI is making it harder, but it's really can't making it easier because more people are lazy.
Mhm.
So it's a tool that's very helpful, but it lowers the bar because people are a lot more lazier. They aren't really using it that well, or they're using it too much to where they aren't really growing. The AI is just doing it for them. But if you can grow your skill set and just keep the iteration going, you can be one of the ones who can use AI alongside. You can take your fundamental skill sets and then grow exponentially through a tool like AI instead of just letting it overtake you, if that makes sense. Uh,
And I want to add to what you just said. Back in the day, if you wanted to get information, you had to go to the library. And
yeah.
then the internet came out, and then now you can get information. You didn't have to drive to a library, so it saved you time, right? It made it a
Mhm.
little more easier, right? It's a tool, right
Mhm.
now. And then the iPhone came out or smartphones. Well, now you have information on your phone. and you carry it anywhere instead of driving to the library. And now, for example, there's AI, right? And you can use it to build things. You can use it to do something to expedite. It's a tool,
Yep.
right? And so it can be used for you or against you depending on how you use it.
Mhm.
Um, and so I just wanted to touch on that because that's something you said that's extremely important. I don't want people to let that go over their head.
Mhm.
Yeah. And so is there anything else you want to say before we end the call?
No, so pretty much it. I don't want to ramble and go over too long. It's just the blueprint's there. If you get the time and commitment into it, you will. I can confidently say the skill set's there. Still, whether how long it takes you to get the offer, that's just up. Then there's no way we can tangibly like say that. But the skill set going through the program and then seeing other students go through it, the skill set's there. If you can get the skill set, if you put in the time and commitment and the belief in yourself, and that's pretty much it.
And you think the skill set's more important than the offer?
Yeah, because I can get more offers come and go. So in that in comfort, you can get an offer. I think maybe Cleo shared this, but he got an offers and then he got on the job. Things just weren't as right. And since he had the skill set, he had the leverage. He's like, yeah, I don't want to do this no more. I got to figure this out. I don't. This is too much. I'm doing too much, so I'm going to a different run. And that's just
Yeah.
being like it's just being it more so as the employee, you never have that kind of leverage. But now you can turn the skill set and think more like a business owner. Like, yeah, I bring value. If I don't want to work with you, I don't have to work with you. So just being able to just navigate this job market at that level, I'm definitely looking forward to experiencing that.
Yeah, that was his fourth offer. He was working, and then I know he left that one, and so he was gonna have three offers. But it's like once you have that skill set, and we probably said skill set over like 100 times on this call, but it's like it really is so important because once you have it, you have that confidence, you have that like you need me, which is true because you need my skill set to save you, multi-millions of dollars. I'm getting the shorter end of the stick, I mean shorter end of the deal because you're only paying me anywhere from 130 to let's say 250. Omotola just got she got a raise from 90 to $150 an hour, right? To $150 dollars an hour, right? And I'm $150 an hour. How much is that per year? Right? That is $312,000 a year.
112, sheesh, that's a bag.
That's still on the shorter end of the deal because they're saving multi-millions of dollars. Because if she didn't have that skill, that's what they're going to pay. Because, a lot of things that's going to go wrong in terms of building infrastructure in AWS, if a website goes down, like Facebook, anyways, I'm not going to go on a tangent, but it's just to say like they need you.
Yep.
And even paying 150, 200, 300, whatever the case may be. And that was for one job, $150 an hour, 300.
One last thing I want to add to that because that you said where they need you because Chris recently got I forget how many offers he's got, but he's up to like 700,000 or so. But they need his skill so much. They initially offered him like 68 an hour or something like that, and then he negotiated, and then they came back with like 110. So it's like why the fact that they were lowballing him at first, but he knows his value, he knows the skill set. He's like, nah, I want a bit more, and they jump that high. That's just. The skill set is in demand. Companies need the skill set. If you prove it and you confidently walk with that, you will find those opportunities where you can, yeah, be like Chris Omotola, and then I'm trying to be like them. I just finally got my first one, so I know that I'm close. So if I just keep at it, keep the momentum going, I'm eventually going to follow the same success patterns that they're getting.
And I want to be super, super clear and transparent. That is not going to happen to you, anybody watching this video, anybody in the program, if you do not put in the work. It is not a get rich quick type of thing. It's not like, because once we see these numbers, you're like, oh my gosh, yes, it is crazy. People are making this money, but they put in the work and they followed a proven blueprint, right? So if that is not you, I'm telling you right now, there's no point of just looking at something like, oh my gosh, this looks so nice. I want it so bad, but you don't put in the time and energy because you just don't want it. Because
You got
there's
to
no,
work at it.
you're not sick and tired of being sick and tired. You don't really want this thing. And that's the reality, right? But if you're sick and tired of being sick and tired, or you really, really want this thing, and you're watching this video, and you know you're going to put in the work, time, energy, right? Go ahead and click the first link in the description below, and I'll see you in the next video.